Hi, this is Trolls from 8DO, and in this video we're going to be taking a deep look at our deep sampled mandolin. Essentially, we record the mandolin in a similar fashion that we did with our steel string guitar, so you have a pretty massive collection of deep sample mandolin frenzy here. Before we get started, let me just introduce you to the interface here. We have 21 different chord patches in the library, which are each divided into 3 categories. We have our natural mandolin, our tenor mandolin, and our piccolo mandolin. Down here you see our fret controls. They control the volume of the fret noises. Here you got the releases. You can control the volume of the release triggers or turn them off. This plus here allows you to reassign the velocity pressure. I actually like it as it is, but if your keyboard is a little different and all that, you can adjust it here. And this is a new feature we've added. This is our tremolo control. So you can essentially play all these different patches up here with tremolo as well. But without further ado, let's just get kicking. Let's try to play a little here with the natural state. And that little whoop in the end, that was the fret control as well. And again, here you can control the amount and the volume of it. Let's try the cathedral here, which is the similar articulation, but this one is sitting in a large cathedral with a lot of reverb on it. One thing that's awesome about the library, and you can hear it in the end here, is that you can play full glissandos. We have so many round robin layers and velocity layers that allows you to play glissandos fluently on the keyboard as well. A good tip is actually when you play your glissandos, just to tune whatever, transpose the scale to your keyboard and then just go down the keys that way. That's normally how I do the glissandos. It's not that I can play them that fluently. But let's try the next one here. This is our harp articulation, so a reminiscence of a traditional harp morphed together with the mandolin. And in this next one, we got our mixed articulation. That's essentially taking our natural and tenor and piccolo mandolin and sticking them all together. Let's check it out. And that was actually a good example of how to play a strummed or a string instrument on a keyboard. We've gotten a lot of questions. We got to earlier demos, how I make them sound more real and all that. And the core principle is really to just play it in a strum fashion. Imagine when you strum, you go from the lowest to the highest string or vice versa. And you kind of want to play the same way on the keyboard so you get that kind of feel to it. Also, let me try this next patch here, the ambient one. This is essentially a more straight guitar sounding morphed together with the mandolin as well. So it's somewhere between an electric guitar and a mandolin. I love that sound. It has a very pointy yet ambient sort of distinct feel to it. Let me try this bend one down here as well, which is made by combining the mandolin with tonal percussion. One of the cool aspects here is that we're mixing different types of samples together that have different types of release triggers and fret noises and natural noises from the percussion. And when you blend them together and you really deep sample your stuff, it just gives a nice natural acoustic feeling to it, but it sounds a little more than just a traditional instrument. Let's move on here to the tenor mandolin. This is somewhat deeper sounding mandolin. It has a little more wooden quality to it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, more warm and dark. I think a good way to gauge any virtual instrument or software instrument is essentially to be able to play simple notes, just hold them down and enjoy the emotional quality of them. And I think this one has a lot of that. You can kind of feel the player behind it. Let me try this next patch here, the Spectrum. It's gorgeous. Essentially, when I made this patch, it was an attempt to make a modern harpsichord by combining a harpsichord type of sound together with the mandolin. I think that it gives an interesting, it has that pointy sound, but you can hear the sort of space-facing kind of sound of the harpsichord behind it. We also have a gorgeous one here called Heavenly. Let me try that one out. Isn't it gorgeous? I think it's sort of a medieval, noble kind of quality patch. If this had an alignment in Dungeons and Dragons, it would certainly be, what's it called? Lawful good, I think. But let's try the piccolo cathedral. The piccolo mandolin is very sharp sounding. It's more pointed than the other one, so it's almost the opposite of the tenor. This one is very distinct, high-pitched kind of quality. It sits great in the mix, particularly for those faster kind of things. And I think that's pretty much it. But before I wrap it up, let me just show you here quickly. We have our effects section here. We got our more sort of effects type of reverbs here and convolutions. And we have another convolution down here with our more natural halls and spaces and all that stuff. All these effects here can be triggered down here in the key switches, and you're going to see them over here if you click on them. And that's it. My name is Troels. This is 8DO. This was the 8DO Mandolin.